If Solana goes up 500%, it's probably going to go up 1,000. Meme coins is just like something that the internet needed, to be completely honest. It's like such an embodiment of internet culture that is just going to continue to grow. It was a $44 million hack. You can see that giant red candle that just kind of like screwed it over a bit. They literally stole millions of people's DNA and sold it on the black market, which meant there was a buyer on the black market for your genetic information. You can take the intellectual property behind this drug and tokenize it on the blockchain.
Hi, Patrick. Welcome on the podcast. And I can see you wearing a t-shirt from the Godfather, isn't it?
Yes, sir. I actually just became a godfather last weekend.
Congrats. That's why I saw there was a connection with decentralized science and the Godfather. And I was like, hey, that might be the horse head in the bed or something like that.
I got to make that connection. That'd be funny.
So how long have you been in decentralized science?
I've been passionate about the space and really watching it for about 1.5 years at this point. Getting a good opportunity to kind of see it emerge as a narrative within DeSci or within crypto right now.
And explain actually, if my grandma just connected to the podcast. Hi, Grandma. What is decentralized science?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And I could go on a 20-minute long-winded rant right now explaining decentralized science.
Brain rot version?
I won't. Yeah, I won't do that.
30 seconds. I would appreciate.
The easiest way for me to explain it and kind of like make it drive home for a lot of the viewers who are watching is if you think about what blockchain was initially kind of presented for was to solve corruption in the financial industry, solve the centralization issue in which all of the power seemingly is in a few people's hands, and then kind of just shed light on what's going on behind the scenes in a huge industry. And if you take those concepts and look throughout the world for other industries that are kind of corrupt and centralized, you'll quickly find academia and scientific research and just healthcare as a whole that is very corrupt. Funding is in the hands of a few centralized organizations, and they just give it to their friends and try and push narratives upon us. So decentralized science is giving us the power over our own healthcare and academia again. Very exciting.
That's cool. We can do like crypto. Yeah. The problem with corruption was very centralized, and now we decentralize corruption. Everyone.
Unfortunately, you're not wrong.
What I like is because I saw in the space of science, and I'm not big on science. I don't have much knowledge, so that's why I'm really happy to have you here. Is how most of the breakthrough discovery recently came from like really crowdsourcing or like computer crowdsourcing, where it's just like they're just like brute forcing, trying tons of variation to find like this something that could be interesting.
Yeah. It's really powerful because if you can get a ton of like-minded individuals to rally behind a point or to rally behind a cause, you'll be shocked, I think, to see how much you can accelerate that.
So what can be one of the real life use cases and not be like the 2018 bull market and 2021 bull market where every project that was quote unquote utility had no other utility except speculation?
Yeah, I think right now we're seeing a lot of speculation driving stuff in DeSci, but the first project that kind of came to my mind and something that's really easy to comprehend would be HairDAO. And so it is literally a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization focused on finding the cure to hair loss and actually creating more novel drug therapies to help people regrow their hair rather than just get hair transplants. So that's a pretty cool one. They're getting they've had a few patents.
No, I do great hair, man. I'm thinking I might start to need it. I'm like, I see a little bit here. Man, that's actually a good project for this market because I see everywhere TikTok, YouTube. It's like Europe going to Turkey and then get a hair transplant there. I have so many of my friends who did it as well. And how decentralized science can help with that, because I guess already a lot of companies will try to get through that, as it will be a really juicy industry.
Yeah, the cool part is twofold here, but they're not stopping traditional pharma from getting involved. So if Pfizer, and they have, wanted to invest into some therapies within decentralized science, they'll take the money and put it into the DAO's treasury and contribute it out to research. For HairDAO specifically, they're getting like a community of balding men and being like, all right, here's an interesting drug that is proven to not be harmful, but it just is lacking that little bit of clinical research that's needed to actually get it to market. So if we all want to contribute to this clinical research study, we can accelerate this quicker and actually get it to market so we can use it. And so that's what we're seeing, community-driven research.
Okay, so the main point you're saying is basically we can crowdsource the funding to start to run an experiment, and then they run it through a DAO, which means there is a voting between people holding the token about which action they should do or they should not do.
Yeah, basically. And that's like one use case, one thing that we're seeing emerge, and it's a pretty big one. So HairDAO is in the umbrella of Biotech DAOs, which have been spawned from a company called Bioprotocol. And if you stay with me here for a minute, everyone, it is worth paying attention because Bioprotocol is what Binance Labs just invested a good chunk of money into, undisclosed amount, but they just finished a pre-sale and they raised $33 million for it. So you can think of Bioprotocol as like the Y Combinator for bio DAOs in the industry.
Okay. And what is it like? Is it already trading this token? Or?
The hair token is, yes. The bio token is not tradable yet. I think in Q1 2025 they'll be launching it, but I don't think they've set a hard date. But there's 8 different bio DAOs, all focused on niche areas in science that are underfunded, but have really compelling use cases behind them.
So why would I buy the hair token?
It's a governance token for the DAO, so you get to dictate what gets funding and what doesn't get funding, and other small things that you want to have in a DAO.
So it's just, okay, so it's just like a voting power. I'm buying voting power. But then let's say the product goes out, they find the way to do it, the molecule or whatever the medicine that they created works. What is it? What goes after? They sell it to a lab or they start their own production. And then because everything is rolling out, what is the use case of, like, why should I hold the token?
Fantastic question. Very good question. You can probably hear my dogs barking in the background, so I apologize for that.
Stockchain, the best tool to get some on-chain analysis and to legally stalk anyone's wallets. To Stockchain, so you can see what are the rich doing, like the Gossip magazine, but you know what are actually spending the money and buying which meme coin that they prepare to pump. So Stockchain, the only tool that lets you find anyone's wallet. So Stockchain, the only tool that lets you know which coin that's getting accumulated and which coin they are dumping. So Stockchain, the only ones who tell you the truth. What's happening on chain? Stockchain, stockchain.com.
Maybe you like the question as well, you wanted to answer.
So when the research gets funding, it goes on, and if it is successful research, meaning the novel drug therapy or the molecule or compound, whatever it is that got researched, proves to be fruitful and you can actually go forward into getting FDA approval and such, you can create a biotech company based around this drug therapy. And what's very exciting, honestly, and something that's not been done before, and kind of ties DeSci into different narratives within crypto, is you can take the intellectual property behind this drug and tokenize it on the blockchain. So it's a real world asset that is being tokenized on chain that is owned by the collective community behind the DAO. And then you can go and create the consumer facing product. In HairDAO's example, they have a line of shampoo that you can actually go and purchase from their website. And it is a recurring revenue model for the DAO to keep the funding up. And you actually get to own the IP behind it.
And with the profits, do they buy back the tokens and burn, or do they do anything like that?
Each project is different. So it's all just depending on which DAO you're focused in on. And that is just one of the little subsectors within DeSci. There's a bunch of other things that are happening too.
Yeah. So I will not be able to, for example, because if I buy a big pharma stock, I will get some dividend, or like depending on how the company is doing, the price will go up or down. And in this case, after it's out the token, we like get some. Do they basically get transformed into what's called into I forgot the name, but basically like you remember like when Ethereum they were trying to decide if it's like, okay, it's a company or it's not a company, and
Yeah, security or not.
security. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
So do they become a security at this point then?
So that's, I think, why we probably aren't seeing many dividends coming from them, is because they don't want to cross over into that category as a security. And by like keeping the profits, by keeping that separation where just because you're part of the community, you don't get rights to the profits generated, I think that's where they're drawing the line. But it's such a new industry that we have no idea. We're just going to have to wait and see what the outcome is with it.
And why would they, if I have an idea of how we can solve X problem, why should I go with this process of doing a DAO and then a DAO and then raise some funds to launch a token instead of going the traditional path? Like, what is new that is bring up?
You get two things, and it kind of ties into the whole ethos behind DeSci as a whole, but you get the rapid allocation of funds. So in traditional science, you'll have researchers literally begging for a grant from institutions like the NIH or different colleges or universities. And you have to promise that you'll research the thing they want you to research. And on top of that, it can take anywhere from like 6 months to 18 months to actually get the funding. And in decentralized science with this DAO model, you can get funding in 6 weeks. You can get funding in a couple hours, depending on the model with it. So you can rapidly get research going.
That's really interesting. Now I start to understand, because if I didn't know that part of this economy, if they can't raise money in the traditional world, and then plus I can guess that everything that goes against what Big Pharma wants to do is going to be a lot harder. Like, I don't know if you fuck around with anything about like stop craving for sugar or stop craving for this, that you start to push a lot of people the wrong way, probably.
But yeah, rule number one, money and big money, is don't mess with the money. And in the United States alone, they're spending roughly $7 trillion a year on healthcare. And so if you start messing with that jackpot of money for the government or for these big pharma companies, you just go missing.
So what kind of thing we're gonna see? Because there's definitely a trend now in the alternative media like YouTube and podcast about living longer, never die, all those things. A little bit more about being healthy, or like maybe it's only my feed, I don't know. But like, do you think, like, I mean, hair loss is like clearly one about not aging. Do you think it's going to be more trend around this, or are we going to cure cancer?
So the cool part is that we're seeing projects spin up constantly right now to try and hit all of these different narratives right now. A big one that a lot of the industry is focused on is not dying. So I don't know if you know Brian Johnson or you've seen him, that man
I'm not
who...
sure if he knows me, but maybe after this he will.
Well, he's heavily involved in DeSci, so if you wanted to meet him or get to actually know him, he goes to a lot of the conferences and such. So he's got a movement called Don't Die, which is literally what it sounds like. And they're focused a lot on death, like making it so that you don't age as rapidly. And eventually the idea is that you'll live an extra 50 years, and in that 50 years, they'll find the cure to death, which is actually something it looks like they'll be able to do. And we're seeing a lot of money flow into that space because all the billionaires don't want to die. So they're just handing money to anyone to try and research it.
I mean, they're trying to solve a big problem. The billionaires is, they wake up, it's like, what the fuck I'm going to do with all that money?
Exactly.
They're wondering that. That's really interesting. And then you were talking that they can raise the money in like 6 months, something like that. But there's also a case, and that's how I started to know about you. They can raise that money in just few hours, because I saw the meme coins going into DeSci, and I want you to tell me a little bit about what happened and how much money did you make on that trade if you went in?
So pump.science, that was the craziest call out I think I've ever had, because I called Riff on live to my community at a $5,000 market cap because it was just sitting there. No one knew what was happening. And it proceeded to rally to $250 million in market cap in the span of about a week. Yeah. So that was the most insane ride I've ever seen. Obviously did not capitalize off the entire thing, but it was a fruitful trade, to say the least. Pump.science, for anyone who's not aware, they launched 2 small molecule therapies or research studies, one called Riff and one called Euro, and they literally used pump.fun to launch these, only they set incremental sell orders in order to sell off a little bit of the token supply that they sniped at launch to use in research in worms, then flies, and then mice. So both of those molecules that were right there, Riff and Euro, are longevity molecules. And so they're live streaming experiments on these animals. Right now it's flies, I believe, to see how long they live, if they're more active, all that kind of fun stuff, to see if that molecule is worth developing into a drug that humans could one day take. So that's the kind of idea behind it. But they're trading like meme coins, and they kind of are meme coins at this point because we're watching flies on a live stream.
Which is quite entertaining. Yeah, I was really surprised. I got told about this project, I believe, like, because made some quite good one with it, but the price on the Reef, I think we have the chart here of the price. Oh no, that's the fearless. But yeah, they explained the molecule here. That's what, like, I was like really surprised, and I was like, that's really, really interesting how they did it. So Pump.fun, for people who don't know, it's a platform where anyone can launch a meme coin basically for free. And it's degenerate. It's one of the best places to make a lot of money and lose a lot of money at the same time. And it was quite original, that a new project. So yeah, it went up to, that was a crazy ride. And why do you think it was so flat for so long, that one actually? Like, is it like no one saw it, or like, what was?
Yeah.
Because I saw like it was like dead, and then suddenly someone like poke around and it's like, oh, now it's alive.
Yeah, it was, I mean, nobody cared about decentralized science at all until 2 weeks ago. Like, every single coin in my portfolio was just on a slow bleed to zero, and I was like, shit, dude. But then Binance Labs, CZ, Vitalik, Brian Armstrong, some of the biggest names in the entire industry all came out and they were like, we like decentralized science and we're going to put a bunch of money into it. And Riff and Euro were the only 2 DeSci coins on Solana. So you got all of that Solana liquidity just flooded into these 2 things rapidly.
Because did you see it here, like 21 September?
Yeah, I was watching it the whole time.
20th of September, and then after just dead for so long. And then what happened on the 13th of November?
Yeah, there was the event. There was an event in Bangkok, and it was like DevCon. CZ showed up to a really small gathering of DeSci enthusiasts. And so he started publicly tweeting that he was a fan of DeSci and that Binance Labs was going to invest in it.
I was in Bangkok at that time. I should have went to that event.
You should have gone. Easy. Yeah, I was going to say, take a selfie with CZ.
That's where I fumbled. But that's why, because that makes all sense now, because I heard about those projects from people in Thailand. So everything connects, like they were probably there. And are they going to do more project Pump.science?
Yes. So they have 10 to 20 more tokens that they'll be launching. It was supposed to be in December, but today they announced that they were going to have to push it back to January, I think, and kind of no longer use Pump Fund from the sounds of it. It was like something was going on that was just too sketchy. They actually, the front end got hacked last week, and people posted fake molecules. and then they pumped to like 10 million in a couple minutes. I think the devs at Pump Science severely underestimated the degen activity on Solana's chain. And then, so they're postponing it, but they do have several more molecules coming.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand. And it's people who can submit a new experiment, right?
Not yet, but down the line, that's what their idea is to get. Right now, they have like a pre-selected list of molecules, but down the line, their idea is that anyone could launch from Pump Science.
Like technically now with their allocation, like I don't know how much of the supply they own and how much is, so they can launch a bunch of experiments.
Yeah. So right in the same transaction in which they create the token, they snipe $5,500 worth of it, which gets them pretty close. It's like a third of the bonding curve, I think, or something like that. And then once it hits a $10 million market cap, they don't own anymore. And from what I talk to them pretty frequently, and from what I understand, no one at the company is allowed to buy into the molecule. So there is no insider supply. Yeah.
I thought it was just like when I read about it, it was just like they had kind of like not a 3D printer, but like just a little robot device where they set up the experiment and then it's live and then that's it.
Yeah, they have it so that no humans have to really intervene with it. It's all automatic. It's just nuts.
Are they the one who created that, or it's like something same as I can pay to get a server, I can pay to a lab, and then they're just gonna run an experiment for me and have a little webcam in front of it?
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lab called Tract Bio in Virginia, I think, United States. And they set up the experiments. They have the lab and they've got an agreement that they can conduct the experiments.
Okay. But it's not like something that it's something completely new. Like it's not like something that everyone was doing that already, or.
Correct. I've never seen it before.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's where it's really interesting. So we get some hair product, but hair regrowth molecule. And then we get a little bit of extending life with those meme coins. What kind of project are you looking at those days?
Yeah, so I could take this down so many different avenues, but I'll try not to so that we don't overwhelm everyone with it. Because again, I've been paying so close, like this has become my entire life. Like my trenches are just in DeSci, so there's so many things that are going on. Okay, so this actually is a good question before we get into some of my like picks that I'm paying close attention to. In last cycle, in the 2021 bull market, DeFi was the emerging narrative.
Yes.
Decentralized finance in March of 2020 had a total market cap of $1.2 billion. This month, decentralized science hit a total market cap of $1.2 billion. Last cycle, DeFi rose from 1.2 up to $200 billion. 16,000% gains for an entire industry. This cycle, decentralized science, I'm betting, is going to do something similar because we're having a bigger cycle, hopefully. I mean, no, already we're having a bigger cycle, and we're seeing the biggest heavy hitters in the entire crypto industry backing the narrative of decentralized science. And so we even have literally the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, who launched a DeSci coin.
Yeah, and also he need the hair loss.
Yeah, he does. See, he's got the utility right there for him.
In crypto, they're gonna have a bunch of customers.
Yeah, no, I mean, that HairDAO hit the market perfectly.
That's really interesting. I like that because I know every time we see something new, and I was probably the same time as you. I was in it and I saw the decentralized finance, and I was big on it, and I was like, that's the cool thing. Now, from everything that was created from decentralized finance, the only thing that we have at the end that is nice is the decentralized exchange. That's the best. That's actually like the best thing we could ever have. All the thing about lending money and da-da-da. Okay, it's nice, but no one is actually really doing it. Or no one is actually really using for their real life purposes unless they bought Ethereum at $20 and they're like, I'm not going to sell those. I can live on $10K to $50K a month just by staking them or putting them into Aave or whatever. But now every market likes something new. Before we go into the details about which project you like or which avenue more, like which category, I would say in decentralized science, because there is always a big leader in each bull market. Do you think decentralized science could overtake meme coins?
No.
Okay,
I think
we can agree. We can continue the recording.
Perfect.
But maybe that would be the two runners, because people are going to need to invest in utility tokens, right?
I think on a long enough time horizon, maybe they could give it a run for its money, but meme coins is just like something that the internet needed, to be completely honest. It's like such an embodiment of internet culture that is just going to continue to grow. I don't think, like, there's so many scam meme coins out there that like kind of hurt the image for a lot of it, but the quote unquote blue chip meme coins are definitely just going to continue to gain market share. I think,
I mean, there's no more money scammed in meme coins than any of the ICO of 2017 or the fake utility project of 2021, 2022. I mean, literally Terra Luna like wiped out like few billion. So let's be real. Any meme coins you like? What do you like?
one meme coin, my girlfriend actually called it the day it started trading was FWOG, FWOG.
Yeah. I know that one.
Yeah, that one, just like seeing it the first day it was trading is crazy to see it still trucking along and continuing onwards. But that's probably, I try not to touch meme coins too much. I put too much money into Landwolf on Solana and I got absolutely wrecked.
Yeah,
So,
sorry for you. Why would you do that?
well, I got suckered into the meme coin cabal that was happening.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, at that time it was all about like, well, but it's the Mad Furry coin. It's like, yeah, but it's not because it's Mad Furry that we need to buy it. But that was, at that time, it was like that. It was like whatever Mad Furry does. And then I know all the companies or the entities, the groups that created from thin air new meme coins where like Mad Furry derivative, or like they will create fake ones. Yeah. So Frog, does she like any of the meme coins, your girlfriend? Because she seems to be quite good at picking them so far.
She got in Peanut. She got in, what was it? It's like the holy mascot of the year or whatever, the new year.
Lucy, yeah.
Yeah, she was in that one. She's called quite a few actually that have gone pretty well.
And next time she goes into one, send it to me.
I will.
You know, it's funny. I passed the test with my girlfriend like that. Like when I see one, I send to her just a meme, like as a normal conversation. And if she's laughing at the meme or if she likes it, I'm like, okay, that's something good. Like Mudeng, I sent her, and then she was like, she liked it a lot. And then I was like, I invested in it. And then sometimes I just send one random one and she don't know. And
I mean, if it's normie friendly, it works. It's a foolproof model.
Yeah. That's cool. All right. Enough degeneracy. Let's talk about decentralized science that's going to solve ADHD for our degens or whatever project.
I mean, funny enough, I think a nootropics DAO is trying to be spun up. So like Adderall is a nootropic. So potentially one day we could see ADHD DAO. There's a lot of big players in the space. I think in order for me to, because again, I've been one of the only people publicly talking about DeSci for the better part of a year at this point. And so I've connected myself with pretty much every founder of a project. So I want to just put that out there for people who are watching, that like I'm an advisor to 2 projects and I work with just about everyone. So I'm going to try and remain as unbiased as possible when I'm giving you guys the information, but just know that I think it's important to put out the 3 that have big names backing them. Then the first one is ResearchCoin with Brian Armstrong. So it's an academic publishing journal, which is very needed because, and you can stop me if I get too deep into the weeds with it, but in 2023, the United States government passed legislation that made it so that any of the government-funded research had to be posted into an open access platform. All of the academic journals right now are closed access, meaning you have to pay or be part of a university to see the research. And so Research Hub is changing the game on that one, where they're open accessing all of the academic publications, and Brian Armstrong is the co-founder of it. I'll take a moment there as well just to mention that another one, Noble Blocks, is doing a very similar thing. I'm an advisor to that project. The chart does not look beautiful, so I would advise against pulling it up. It's
I'm going to do
NOBL.
it even more. Noble
Man.
Blocks.
Yes, that one.
Okay.
It suffered a hack in the very early days of the project, and so it was kind of unfortunate to see. It wasn't the actual project that got hacked, but rather a third-party vesting contract called Hedgie Finance. It was a $44 million hack. You can see that giant red candle that just kind of like screwed it over a bit. The project is still trucking along and nothing fundamentally changed, but the tokenomics got all screwed up.
Yeah. Tokenomics as how many tokens in circulation or just the price action on the token?
How many tokens in circulation? So it was like a 300 or 400% dilution in the matter of like an hour or two. So it was,
So how many tokens they have running now?
I think it's like, I don't remember the exact circulation off the top of my head. I think it's like 40% in circulation or something like that. And it was just not supposed to have that many yet.
Okay. Got it. So you got a token unlock that was fat. That was not.
Yeah, it was all of the unclaimed tokens that were in these vesting contracts. Like I didn't suffer from the attack as far as my tokens are concerned because I had claimed them, but everyone who didn't claim them, someone came in, exploited Hedgie's smart contract, got access to all the tokens, and just dumped them onto the market. They took, I think, like $2 or $3 million.
More on the market.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, for me, it's good because if I didn't invest in the was it like a pre-ICO or something like that?
Yeah, pre-sale.
Pre-sale. I mean, it's good for. It's sad for people who were before, but it's good for people who want to come in later because they get a. I like when the tokens are all circulating as well. Funny enough, like all the projects you mentioned are on Ethereum.
Yes. Ethereum base, and then they're trying now because of Riff and Euro to go to Solana. But just about everything is ETH base or Polygon right now.
Why base?
I think because they want, this is just me personally, obviously the gas fees, but I think that they want recognition from Brian Armstrong. And since base is from Coinbase and Brian Armstrong knows of DeSci through Research Hub, I think they're just trying to appease him.
I like that. Because
I mean, it's smart.
Yeah, you remember previous cycle, BNB basically was like the cheap DeFi stuff. You had PancakeSwap, you had everything that you could find on Ethereum, but like on BNB they were going crazy, and Base did not find its product market fit, as far as I know for now. Like for me, like, I used it before, and then for meme coins they fucked it up. There's no other words. Like it's just they did not reach good enough, but maybe they were doing that on purpose because they want not to be associated with meme coins, but something else. And
potentially,
that would make a lot of sense.
it does actually make sense, especially knowing Brian does a lot of lobbying to the government. So he probably, like Base didn't launch a token. Maybe they just wanted to stay away from meme coins so that he could continue to lobby the politicians in the United States.
Yeah, probably, because I really felt like that when like I built some tools around it. I was like, why they don't do any push or anything, and that would all make sense now.
Yeah, he had the hidden long-term goal with it.
That could be it.
Could be it.
I have a beautiful trading bot for Base. I will make you try after.
Yeah, please do. Is it a Telegram bot or is it a totally
so
different?
Advanced on it. It's Telegram and web. You can open a trade in your browser, have the chart and everything, and then you can close it on your Telegram if you want. It's multi logging everything.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Definitely show me after. I'm curious.
Yeah. So how does one navigate through getting into decentralized science? Because even if I would love to only pump your bag, I would need to onboard people into it. Like, what should be like the first step? Like, where should I go? So first, you say most of the projects are trading on EVMs, Ethereum based blockchains, basically. So you talked about Polygon as well, right? And then the base chain. Did I forget one?
Yeah. Lucky for me, ask the question again. That last question. Is there...
Did I forget any chain? Like, are they traded on BNB or are they like...
So I don't remember the names of them. I think there's one on BNB. There's actually one on the XRPL, believe it or not, on XRP's ledger. I don't know who chooses to build on that thing, but people somehow are still doing it. Some are starting to emerge on Solana, and then I think that's pretty much it. Arbitrum actually has Data Lake, which is one of my favorites. And you said that you, as much as you would love to just pump my bags, lucky for me, I own just about every DeSci project out there. So it doesn't matter what people buy, you're probably going to pump my bags. It's small enough now I can do that.
Feel me, it doesn't matter.
No, but yeah, everything's just so small right now that it's like, there's not a lot. There's only like 30, 35 different coins out there in existence. So it's easy to do your research for people who are getting involved with it.
Is there a directory, or I just go on CoinGecko and click on DeSci, and then that's what I do?
It's probably one of the safer options to do it. We're just starting to get some centralized exchange activity, but almost no notable centralized exchanges right now. So you're just going to have to be familiar with DEXs. So you're going to have to get good at MetaMask and Uniswap and then Phantom and Radium and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. They actually recently started delisting from some of the centralized exchanges because they were getting manipulated and priced down. Like BitGet, Data Lake just got delisted from BitGet because they had given them like 50 million tokens. And every time someone purchased Data Lake, BitGet would just sell off and just like continue to funnel money out of the project, which was crazy.
Wow, that makes sense.
But
so then there's 1.2 billion in only 30.
Yeah, just about. I think it's growing pretty quickly right now, but like 30 or 40 coins.
I mean, just like the two from Pump Science, right? They are about $100 million market cap each.
Yeah, crazy.
So
there's a lot of IP tokens that aren't necessarily on CoinGecko, and in order to find those, you'd have to really be paying attention to the different DAOs. One website people could go to is called Catalyst, but it's very complicated and they're not immediately tradable. You're like kind of donating your money to fund science, and then in a couple weeks, a couple months maybe even, you'll get your tokens. So probably super fun for everyone.
do you have one on base?
One on base. Yes, I'm trying to think. GenomesDAO is on base. GenomesDAO is, do you know 20?
Yeah.
So 23andMe, where you can get your DNA sequence to give you ancestry information and everything. GenomesDAO does genetic sequencing for people, but instead of just doing your ancestry, they do like 95% of your genome, whereas 23andMe does less than 1% of your genome, your DNA. And so they're using zero knowledge proof so that you can actually like sequence your DNA and remove your personal identity from the DNA and actually contribute your genetic information to research studies and get paid to contribute your data. So they're giving you self-sovereignty over your genetic information. That one's on base. That one, I think,
recently.
Yeah. They're doing a lot of like Black Friday sales right now to try and get more users and sell their genetic testing kit. So there's a real business model behind it even.
See, the beautiful thing of our tool, you can put DCA, you can buy spot, you can put limit orders.
Oh, this is your tool, Based?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Basedtrading.com. See how I managed to reverse chill my own product doing a podcast?
I'm down
Personal
for it.
skills here.
Yeah, props to that.
Thank you. That's amazing. I really that's it's so why would someone like invest in Genome instead of like because like they're basically a copy of 23.
It's like 23andMe on steroids. So,
But why do we need blockchain?
okay, good question actually. Earlier, I think it was last year, 23andMe got hacked and all of the genetic information was sold on the black market. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know, I that's why I never did. I always wanted to do that thing, the DNA test, but I never did because all my it's back at 2017, yeah. All the Bitcoins hardcore guys, they're like, yeah, no, don't give your DNA to anyone. They're gonna create a weapon to kill you, basically. Okay? You know, that was kind of like the vibe, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah. It's not that far off, to be completely honest. It's a little bit like sci-fi-esque, but like the hack, they literally stole millions of people's DNA and sold it on the black market, which meant there was a buyer on the black market for your genetic information. A lot of it's like insurance
China,
companies,
North Korea.
but yeah, they they are using it for targeted things. I don't want to call them attacks because I don't know what they're doing, but it's sketchy. And so like putting it on the blockchain, you get a vault and your genetic information stays in that vault and you can like take little snippets of it and show it to people and they'll give you like $50, $100, $200 for that information.
And does it make like, is it more secure like compared to the company? Like,
Yeah. I mean, I don't know anyone who's successfully hacked Ethereum's blockchain. And so like, or even Base's chain, but I do know.
yeah, but like
that.
when, I mean, it's more like I receive the kit, I put my saliva or whatever they ask, I send it back. How is that process different from another company? Because if it goes into their server and then after they upload it in the blockchain, it's a bit useless. Or if it's like just some IPFS servers or whatever, there's like, what is the real encryption that's happening behind it?
Yeah, that I don't know off the top of my head. So that is actually a good question because at that point it's like a very blatant fault point in which it sounds secure and safe, but maybe it's not.
Yeah, I would believe that they're not storing on Ethereum because that would be way too costly in a transaction, and an execution of a smart contract is different. However, I know someone actually that did some blockchain work with hospitals and co. So that's there's a connection here. It's working really well in South Korea, and then they are really apparently cautious about not giving data to someone else about their patient's life. And then they use blockchain, but it's not like really public. And then they just like this, they can share the data between different hospital if the patient say, yes, I accept that you get my data from that other hospital where I got a surgery, and then I accept that you get the data or not. And I think those things where you get a bit more control of like who can see what, that's a good thing for privacy, but also it's a good thing for actually being able to actively share the data because everyone have their own database in their own way, working on their own system and working with you to make all database go together is hard as hell. No one has idea. Like it's crazy. I worked on a project like that before my DJing career, and then it's just headaches. So
Yeah. No, it's a nightmare because then you have to get multiple different, effectively like languages speaking in the same tongue. So it's like, yeah, it's very difficult. I think it's a super valid point. I know I got the chance to interview the founder, Aldo, and he has definitely thought about it. I just don't remember his answer at this point, but there's, yeah.
okay, cool. Well, and then so we talked about DNA, we talked about hair loss, we briefly talked about nootropics, right? or was it nootropics or the for the ADHD one?
Yeah,
I don't
for a
know.
moment.
Well, I've like my knowledge about drugs is almost none. I don't
about-
take anything.
And anything at all? What about recreational drugs like psilocybin, MDMA?
And no, I'm boring as fuck. You know, it's like I don't. I don't. I don't like to have any. Like, I'm the kind of guy like it's like when my body feels that it's losing control, it will freak out. You know what I mean? So it's like I get it. Like even like when I was younger, I could drink a lot of alcohol, and then now if I feel like I'm dozing off, it's like I feel I don't like that. I don't like that. I'm losing control, and then I'm sorry. It's not a therapy day, Patrick. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. It's the makings of a successful person. Generally, people who like stay away from the substances like that have a good head on their shoulders.
Well, yeah, maybe. I'm the exception that validate the rule. We will see. The future will tell. Then what was the cool stuff are happening? Because I think like if this goes on, like retail, they want to invest into cool stuff by definition.
Yeah,
Like
without a doubt.
yeah.
I think so. I'm like my background. I have a degree in science, a bachelor's in science, and so like I find all of it really cool. And so like the one that I'm most excited about and most passionate, and I think if people can like wrap their head around the idea of quantum computing, they will also get pretty excited about it, because just like we saw with artificial intelligence, how they had that ChatGPT moment in which all of a sudden this new paradigm shift came out and everything is artificial intelligence focused. It's like the new .com bubble. If you just put .ai at the end of your startup, you're going to get money. I think the same type of thing is going to happen for quantum computing. And there's actually a decentralized science project called Dynex, which is quantum computing as a service. So it's like Render. Do you know Render?
Render, yeah.
So it's like Render, in which you can kind of rent out your computer's GPU to render out graphics, except you can rent out your computer's GPU to simulate a quantum computer. And in that, they can run the world's most powerful quantum computations. And it's like, it actually is the world's most powerful quantum computing network out there. They're shattering through records left and right now and really accelerating the entire industry. Why this is so important is because all of the AI tools that we have right now they're all like the toddler version of what AI can be if you put it onto a quantum computer. And so like it blows my mind the more and more I look into it, like the speed at which these AI algorithms can run on a quantum network like Dynex is insane. And so I'm very excited about that one.
Is a crypto project or is
Yes. Yep.
is it? Let me check.
So it's its own blockchain, but they just introduced a wrapped version of the token on
DNX,
Ethereum.
that's the one.
DNX, correct.
Yeah, they have a ERC20.
Yeah. I could rant again for hours on this one, but
But that's not
recently. So it is not the biotech realm of it, but it's like the computer science side of everything. So like, while it's not in healthcare and everything, it is
$9 million
in
market
there.
cap.
It's disgustingly cheap, in my opinion. Not financial advice, of course, but click on the networks tab at the top there. And in the top left-hand corner, you're going to see the growth in monthly jobs in the top left. You'll see that this month, they're at like 60,000 jobs. And if you go back a couple months, you can see how quickly it's been growing.
Yeah, from October to November, it's massive growth.
They have like 60,000 GPUs in network. They just initiated a $10 million buyback of the token because they fair marked the token.
Opposite reaction in the token price action.
I know. It's ridiculous, but I've just been
It is what it is.
loading up. Yeah, right. You can't really question crypto too much, otherwise you'll drive yourself insane.
Yeah.
But they have so it's quantum as a service, just like SaaS, it's QAS or QAAS, but they're on AWS with that. So anyone who's using AWS can just do quantum as a service from Dynex.
Okay. QAA. I thought it was a ticker. Okay, it's like a SaaS, but it's a
Get out of the trenches.
QAS.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly.
And you're dropping too much alpha here. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous.
First thing in the morning for you too. I hope you had your brain woken up.
Yeah, don't worry. I wake up at like 6 or something like that. So
Oh, okay.
I had time to be away. I'm gonna dig in later because like if I see, all right, that's a blockchain, I'm gonna try to read like who is active, what kind of people are active in it, because numbers goes up, but I don't know if it's real user doing the job or it's just them inflating numbers.
Right. Yeah, you gotta do your on-chain forensics.
Yeah, exactly. Like I have to pretend I'm smart and then feel like I'm playing with data. But I mean, for own blockchain, that's a layer 1 then, right? That's a layer 1. Yeah, that's disgustingly cheap for what it is. If I mean just with a website like that, normally you with animation on it and you can click buttons, it's 100 million.
Hopefully soon. I wouldn't mind it.
I mean, well, it's just a 3x from here. That's gonna be easy. But like sure. I mean, a meme coin, I got in the other day. I got around 10 million. He's already at 60 million. It's just Christmas. So the irony of the market, like it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
I know, it's only a couple hours of trading something. If they had launched on Pump Fund with this token on Solana and just called it Quantum Token, it would already be up at 100 million.
Yeah, but that's why you gotta launch at the right place. Launch at the right place at the right time. And then, okay, so they have a token, but they made a wrap token on another chain, I guess.
Yeah, just because it was difficult for people to gain access to the token, so they wanted to kind of like make it easier for everyone.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. So we touched about this. Is there like if someone wants to start, you say, okay, we check the DeSci category on CoinGecko. Let's say I want to go a step further. I want to get a bit more alpha. Where should I go? Or what should I do? How can I get more involved into this?
I am going to shamelessly shill myself in this moment. So I go live on YouTube Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I talk about everything that I can possibly find around decentralized science just to keep everyone informed. I would go and start joining some of the communities that look intriguing to you. So if you want to get involved in the hair loss, or you want to get involved in living forever or cryopreservation, you just like on CoinGecko, you can see a lot of the projects. And I would join some of the communities and pay attention. Bioprotocol is a clean one just because there's so many. It's like an index fund within the biotech realm of DeSci.
Yeah, you go. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, you go live every day. You just don't know how to make a good thumbnail.
Come on, dude. You want to hook it up?
I'm kidding. My thumbnails are pretty bad as well, but I'm working on it. I'm testing different people, but I can see. Yeah, it's
just the same thumbnail over and over again. So it's like,
that's
for me,
what I see. So people will be like, they look at the thumbnail first. So when they come on YouTube, they'll be like, oh, that's the same live as yesterday. Oh, that's the same thing that I watched the day before. They wouldn't know it's a new live. Which is a shame because what you're sharing is really valuable information. So, but don't worry. After this is online, maybe this is going to change and then everyone's going to crawl around your videos and then you're going to be accused to chill your bag and then be like, how dare you make money? How dare you win it? You've been making 400 videos and then live every day, and how dare you?
You don't deserve it. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I welcome it. I welcome it. It's a pretty fun little community because, like you said, most people view the channel maybe and then don't know that I'm making updated content. So it's like the little 20, 30, 40 people that do join the live streams. It's like everyone knows each other. It's pretty fun in there.
That's cool. Yeah, I really like the when it's like that. Like I remember when we started it, same like when we were doing the lives and things, like we're doing something that's gonna help a lot less humanity, which is live trading meme coins. But I guess
It's
people
fun.
have a life. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it is. So any other project that you been looking at? Because I can see right on your channel, actually, we get Research Hub, we get Noble Block, we got Dynex, we got one that is called ETI, Bitcoin for Decentralized Science.
Yeah, so that one is very small. It's its own blockchain as well. It's $1.8 million market cap, and they are trying to allow for peer review publication of articles, just like Research Hub and Noble Blocks. However, they're trying to do it in a similar fashion to how Bitcoin does it with their consensus. So it's like instead of every 10 minutes there's a block on Bitcoin's network, it's every certain amount of research articles that get posted, there's a block and it closes that block on the chain. And it's pretty novel. I got to interview the founder of it. He wanted to remain pseudo anonymous and try and like inspire people to think of Satoshi, but yeah, it's
and anything of what you said, you know. I was looking at putting the price up, and then I was like, okay, I don't get it.
Watch the video, watch the live stream with him. He explains it pretty good. I got again, because nobody was talking about DeSci, I got the opportunity to interview like most of the projects in the space.
I'm bullish. They have a really bad designer for the website.
That means you're bullish.
Really bad design for the logo as well.
That's funny. Yeah, a lot of what you'll find as you guys are digging through the trenches of DeSci is that these are scientists trying to join Web3 and having really novel ideas and the ability to create, but not the ability to present what they're doing at all.
I would love to get them on, and then one by one, I would tell them like, so how do you feel that a coin called Poop this morning is now at $25 million market cap, and then the developer made more money than you?
I mean, yeah, fart coin keeps going up and to the right.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to know that a token called fart coin is worth more than the entire industry?
Maybe there's something to learn in this. But I think, or maybe it's gonna take off soon. Do you think Elon Musk is gonna jump in the DeSci?
I don't know that Elon Musk will, but I think RFK might. I think there's a good chance. RFK is all about make America healthy again, and he's starting to put out these crazy ideas like put elections on the blockchain. And so I think the entire narrative of decentralized science is something he is already passionate about. He just doesn't know. So we'll see.
And in your honest opinion, like if we don't see any decentralized science, if this was not a category, and then we remove meme coins as well, do you think there were anything else that is worth paying attention in crypto?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of DePIN, decentralized physical infrastructure. I think it kind of had its limelight.
You really like boring stuff, huh?
Faded out. Yeah, I do like boring stuff. All right, I like AI. I really am a big fan of DEXs. The leading DEX on any blockchain is an easy play.
Yeah. Radium on Solana? Or Jupiter?
Easy cook. Very easy play. It's like a beta play on top of Solana. If Solana goes up 500%, Radium's probably going to go up 1,000, 2,000%.
You know what is something I always put on my list to study more? Because I'm like between Radium and Jupiter. Like Radium, they've been under the radar. Like you don't see them in any conference. You don't see them in anything. But they're just like, they've just been cooking, and then all the projects are launched on it instead of, like Pump is associated to it.
Yeah.
And then you see, for example, 1.5 billion for Radium and 1.6 billion for Radium, and Jupiter is 1.5 billion. When Jupiter is just an aggregator, it's not even its own exchange.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And for me, it's like it's an quote unquote aggregator because there's like Radium, Meteora, and Orca. So it's like a free liquidity pool, and then most meme coins, they're like 90% on Radium. And who owns Meteora is the same team as Jupiter. So it's just, it is like,
That's crazy. They got a monopoly on the whole space.
well, they don't own Radium. That's the thing. So that's how is the best way to, I mean, that's speculation. But what is the best way to take the monopoly of Radium is to create an aggregator and then try to drive as much as you can towards your own liquidity pool. I mean, they're not together, but it's the same core funding team. And then if I meet some people working there, I met some that had Jupiter logo here and Meteora logo here on the t-shirt.
Okay. So then they're sister companies. It's the same thing.
So that's just saying. But yeah, we are going off rail. Sorry, here.
It's good. This has been a very, very enjoyable conversation for me. And you never know what kind of alpha you're going to get.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I really appreciate it, actually. I thank you. Like, I learned a lot, and I think I have like a bunch of research to do. Like, so I'm going to send that to all my Gen Z quants and then say like, all right, guys, let's find which one are actually good on this. Do you have something that you would like to share before leaving? Except like I really recommend people to go on his channel and subscribe and then watch even if his thumbnails are ass. Because
I'll do something about the thumbnails. I'll try and improve the thumbnails.
Contact him, help him.
Yeah. I mean, if someone wants to edit, I'm down. I clearly need the help. But yeah, I'm on YouTube, that investor, and then X as this investor because they suspended my that investor account. I was on TikTok. I was nearing in on 100,000 followers on TikTok, but TikTok also banned my account, and I'm protesting them now because I didn't want to make a new one again. But
why do you think they ban you? Like, why you got banned twice?
I've been banned on every single platform except for YouTube, actually. I've just gotten them, I've gotten the accounts back because I either knew someone or paid to get it unbanned. But it's because I love conspiracy theories and I can't help myself. When I see a clear as day conspiracy theory, I like making content about it. And it kind of like adds a little bit of variety into my stuff. YouTube's the only one I don't do it on though, which is probably why I may get banned on that one. But
yeah, that's exactly why.
And it's enjoyable. I mean, like, yeah, I just started talking about too many things that I was not supposed to talk about, like weather manipulation technology and the Trump assassination attempt.
Okay, we're gonna stop right here because otherwise we're gonna be up for 2 hours more, and this is not Joe Rogan podcast, so keep it up if you get invited there. Man, that was enjoyable. Thank you so much, Patrick. Like honestly, like I was like, that's why I love to do this thing is to get like someone who do something totally different that I do, and I can learn so much in an hour.
Yeah, this was fantastic. I really appreciate you having me on. Hopefully I can come back.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see, depending of the price action.
But depending on how much money you make off DeSci, I can come back.
Exactly.